This is Darius from Schalke Esports, and today we have an important announcement to make. Odoamne will not be part of the Schalke 04 2021 LEC roster. Unfortunately, even though we are, of course, very, very excited for the future, it always means that we have to let go of someone who's been very special over the last 2 years, who's growing very dearly to the hearts of the organization. So we felt like doing him a bit of justice and giving him one final interview to talk about his 2 years here at Schalke 04 Esports. Odoamne, how are you doing, my man?
Hey, now that you made this intro, it's a bit of a sad moment for me. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? The last years with Schalke were, I mean, maybe like performance-wise wasn't really like the best, but I feel like my period over like the last part of this year was like a nice end to the journey we had.
Yeah, I mean, you managed to achieve pretty amazing things with Schalke. I mean, 2019, Athens, third place in summer. Of course, then the final run for the Gauntlet wasn't successful.
Actually, true. Yeah, that sucks.
But hey, it's a top 3 finish. You know, with today's system, Schalke would have gone world. So you know, like it's just
true.
Just
sucks.
Right, changing the system every year. Yeah. And this year, yeah, the miracle run. I mean, what a journey that was. But let's talk first about 2019.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun with your miracle run, tweeting SO4 miracle run for 6 weeks straight, every day.
Getting those 3 likes on the board every single time. Really, really nice.
True.
But let's talk about 2019. When you joined Schalke, what were your first expectations? You joined a roster. I think at the time you knew that Upset and Dylan were going to be part of the roster, right? Or Abba as well?
No, and I joined in 2019. I think I was the last one to join. So I kind of knew the whole thing. Maybe it wasn't like, you know, like signature on paper kind of thing with Ignar and stuff, but it was kind of like done deals when I joined. So I kind of knew what I was going into back then.
And what were your expectations, and how did that fruition over the year?
I don't know. Like my me leaving Splice was a bit of a spicy topic for me personally. So coming into Schalke was, I think, a good opportunity for me to kind of bounce back and have a good roster, because while the roster wasn't really like, you know, uncontested top 3 or something like that, my mentor was kind of like a guy that was on the scene for a while, and he was always having some periods of time where he was really, really good, and sometimes he would like fall off. But I thought that it was kind of like a nice addition, because how the off season is going, you don't really get always, you know, the most contested free agent. Sometimes you have to kind of balance it out with someone who's like lower priority for other teams. And I thought Memento was like a really, really good fit for like the state of the off season back then. And with Abe, it was kind of like a completely new thing. I didn't really have any expectation from Abe, so to say, just because it was his first year in LEC, and I have never ever seen anything from him. I just knew that he was in like Vitality Academy at some point. But yeah, like the main thing that attracted me to Schalke back then was Upset and Ignar bot lane, because I saw that as an opportunity to have like a powerhouse bot lane where I kind of get to play weak side in a sense. Not something that I was like really fond about, of just playing weak side for everyone, but I felt like I could take the bullet for that sort of bot lane where they're like really, really talented and aggressive, and I felt like if I do my job properly, I can enable them and just make them look even better than they are. So overall, the project was like quite an exciting one for me, because I felt like we could go for like top 3, top 4 finish.
Of course, Dylan Falco, the World's 2018 finalist coach as well.
Yeah, holy poggers, Dylan Falco. No, but yeah, I mean, for sure, I didn't touch on Dylan for like my impressions when I joined, but yeah, he was coming fresh off of that Worlds run, so I thought that it was like the roster could be really, really good because I felt like everything was kind of in balance at that moment.
Nice. And then that I guess that balance wasn't upkept until the summer. In spring, okay,
Yeah,
explain to me, because like we can talk about 2020 and it's like an entire different roster, of course, and
yeah.
like lots of things changed in between. But 2019, you looked at that Schalke roster, and Memento was very, very hyped at the time as well, I remember. But you
Yeah.
guys didn't even make playoffs in 2019. So
Oh my god!
it
Actually, I
was
remember we were like not. What were we? We were like 8-7-2,
I
or
think
9-2.
9-2 or something, like really ridiculous, or 8-2 or 7-2, something around that area.
So we were something like that, and then we lost tiebreaker. But it was like absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Actually, but Darius, you were not at the org back then, but you could have made like some reverse miracle run memes.
Actually,
Because
yeah, I mean,
imagine how you could have like made that we lost like 9 games in a row and then we failed to make playoffs. That was banger moment that you could have been a part of, but you were not.
really should
But
have planned 1.5 years in the future. I agree.
true, you should have accessed your meme bank and went with it. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was just kind of a weird position because even though like Memento was playing for a while, he was still kind of like in a rookie mindset, I would say, because his time wasn't really on like top teams. Because back then, I mean, up until this year or last year, the way it looked was like the top like 4 or 5 teams in EU were like really, really competitive, really a step above everyone else. And he was kind of stuck in like that lower end of the teams with like Rocket being like 6 to 8 and stuff, and like environments like that where I feel like he didn't really get to gather like valuable experience where which he could use for like the future. So the moment he came in, it still felt like he was a rookie in a sense, just because his knowledge was kind of like untapped, and there were like a lot of things that we could or like we needed to kind of like address. While compared to someone like Jankos, if Jankos jumps into a team, he kind of can lead everything. While Memento was he needed a bit of time. And what I think was the problem for us, or like with Memento in like specifically, was that it became like a very contested 2v2 meta for like mid lane, and it just kind of sucked that the like centerpieces of the team were kind of like both rookies, in that sense, where they didn't really rookies in the sense that they just didn't know how to like snowball and take control of a game and just kind of like shot call everything and just do whatever is needed, It was more like they needed a bit more guidance. So we're in the position where both of them were rookies in that sense, and they just didn't know how to like lead the game. So that's kind of like what happened with us towards the end. Meta shifted, and I feel like we did a poor job at adapting, because it was mostly just like skirmishing and stuff. That was the core of like that 2v2 meta. But then it kind of went into like control mages, where it wasn't really like about skirmishing, but more about just getting pressure and moving it around, and we weren't really good at that. So I think that's kind of like what led to Memento's downfall in that roster.
After spring split, after not reaching playoffs, the team decided to then bring back or bring in Trick. Sorry,
Twitch.
Twitch
Yeah.
TV, of course. Bring in Trick as the starting jungler, which helped stabilize the team, I suppose. Gave you guys a more stable game plan, or an easier route to follow. What did he bring exactly from your perspective?
Trick was really valuable to us because he won with G2 so many times, and he kind of like, that's the thing, he was kind of one of those players that worked in like a thriving environment, and he got to gather a lot of experience that he could use. So the moment he came in, he was really good at kind of like guiding us and keeping everyone in check. He was the sort of guy that like everyone would give him information, like everyone would be like, I would be like gank top, and then bot lane would be like gank bot, and then he would just kind of like filter everything, and he would just choose the correct play, So he was more like a shepherd for us, just because he kind of funneled all of our informations and stuff into making the correct play, and we would just kind of like play around him, because we had a lot of trust in him, because he was always making like good decisions and stuff. And that's kind of like what we missed from the 2v2 on mid lane, because Abe was a rookie, and then when Trick came in, Abe managed to like start to gather knowledge and start thriving, just because he was playing with someone that could like teach him like directly. Like obviously everyone in the team were like, hey guys, do this, do that, we can teach you this, we can teach you that. But it's a lot of different. It's a big difference when you have someone that's like your direct teammate, in the sense that like he works with jungle the most in the game, or like during the game, so he could gather a lot of knowledge from there. So that's kind of like what happened with us, and that's why we managed to be able to reach Athens and play there, even though we missed on Worlds, just because he brought in what we needed. Because I feel like top and bot were like really good, and mid was also really good, and jungle like himself, Memento, was like fine, but it's just like we were missing a piece, and that piece was him.
Yeah. Third best team in Europe at the time, potentially, one could see it that way. It was also the playoffs game against Rogue, where Larsen had his infamous Larsen package, and Schalke managed to bring it back last second, because the game seemed already in a one state for Rogue. And then Larsen, unfortunately for him, goes diving into the fountain, and the rest of the Schalke squad is able to defeat the remaining Rogue members at their Nexus turrets. What was that entire series like for you, from your perspective?
I thought it was like a good test for us, just because we went into best of fives, and we felt like we were kind of good in best of fives. We were like the sort of team that would be good on best of fives. What was even the score? Was it 3-1?
It ended up being 3-1. So the scoreline was 1-1, and then Rogue push for the 2-1 win. And
they ended. Yeah. It's funny because people are saying if Rogue would have won that and Larsen wouldn't bomb the fountain with his package, then Rogue would have won the series. But it doesn't. I mean, that's so much bullshit. But it's whatever at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The series was like really, really fun and contested. I think we were for sure better than them, but I think we just made a lot of mistakes throughout the game. We weren't really like super clean, but I don't know. It was exciting because it was like I think it was our first BO5 with like that roster, and I feel like we were having a lot of confidence going into it. And if I'm not mistaken, Rogue was like they made playoffs with like 7 and 9 or something, no?
Yeah, it was it was a relatively low scoreline for sure. I think it was 7.
So we were kind of confident going into it because everyone was like, "Oh my God, Rogue is so good. They're the third best team and whatever." But this is so bullshit. It's the third best team and they have negative win rate in LEC. So I mean, you can say the same for us with Miracle Run. You know, we had negative win rate in LEC, but they were like, "Oh yeah, Schalke is a really good team now, maybe second best or best team in Europe," and blah blah blah. But
that was different.
Yeah, but the thing, I mean, it was different because we won like 10 in a row while they were kind of like flipping every game. But I don't know, it was exciting series. We got to play some good games, and I had to. That meta I felt like was quite good for me, so I was really happy with the stuff I was playing.
Yeah, lots of cannon to be seen that series as well. Okay, so 2020, also an interesting ride for sure. I mean, besides the fact that we're in a global pandemic right now, and at least we still get to do our jobs and still have a lot of fun watching esports. Besides all of that, of course, a very wild ride nonetheless. Let's focus a bit on the Miracle Run and the end of the year. Like,
are we just ignoring the first part of the year? I like it.
I mean, we also have been speaking for a long time already. Let's just get to the good stuff.
Yeah, fine. Let's go Miracle Run.
So, where I remember when it was like around week 4, week 5, and we were, asking people, hey, how are you guys doing? And of course, everyone like explain to me from your perspective. Because we saw what this roster was able to do at the end. 10 wins in a row, really decisive games, even beating G2, Fnatic, yada, yada, yada. But my God, that team fucking sucked for such a long time. And like even the final version, just had so many issues for so many games and lost so many games so decisively as well against SK Gaming, against Rogue, like really brutal series. So what was like the final switch from your perspective? Besides like Gilly is saying, by the way, we're going to Worlds, of course.
Yeah, I mean, other than Gilius's motivational speeches, um, I don't know. I just think we kind of fixed our shit because I think at one point we figured that like the way we were practicing was kind of bad because we were kind of just like we were playing the like scaling stuff and we were like if we don't lose we will win, you know? And we were too afraid to play stuff where it will give us like leads in the first 5 minutes, but if we don't do anything with them, we will lose. And I don't know. I think we just started screaming like that, where we just kind of like tried to take games into our own hands because at that point we were kind of like already 1-10 or whatever. I think it was like 1-7 or 1-8 when we decided to make the switch. And I don't know. It just took a bit of time. I think.
1-6
for example,
was
against
the
Mad
time,
Lions.
by the way, when the switch came. That's when Gilius came in.
Oh, okay.
No, 0. Must have been a 0 scoreline. 0-6, something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we lost against Mad Lions, a game that was kind of like won. Remember the one where Gilles got caught at Drake?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So, okay. I know. So wait.
Like that was we were already in that phase where we were like looking to play aggressive, and that was like a good example of the game where we had a lead from early game and we just transitioned it poorly, so we lost. And those are kind of like the games we were scared of having. So that's why we were playing more like scaling stuff, where it's just like, oh, we're good enough, so we're just not gonna lose, and at one point you will win, you know. But the thing is, by that point you're already like 3 Drakes down, and then the game was always over by like minute 23 or 24.
Yeah.
So after that we were just like, whatever. We're like we're shit anyway. We're like 1-8, whatever, blah blah blah. We are, and we're like, let's just try to just pick aggressive mid jungle top and just try to level 3 dive top every game. And then that started working for us really well, and we just started using it a lot. And I don't know, I just feel like we got to the point where we just realized that it's so lost that might as well try something new. And also I think on top of that, the time we started playing well, we had a really good read on the meta and stuff, because like the stuff we were playing with like Shen and stuff, we were like, that was like the meta for playoffs, but we were doing it like 3 weeks before it even like became meta for playoffs. So I feel like we are just really ahead of the curve on like the meta with like the stuff we were playing, because no one was playing like Camille Sejuani or like Shen Hecarim, Shen Nocturne, all of this stuff, like global stuff. And on top of that, I think when our win streak started ramping up, teams, I mean, usually teams in like summer split or like middle of summer split towards the end, it's just like 1 year of frustration, it's just ramping up, you know. And at one point it just pops. And I feel like literally 60 or 70% of the teams in LEC just went through this like civil war phase, I guess, where everyone just kind of like hating each other, where there's like factions in each team where they have like problems with each other. And they just like don't function well as a team, while us, we were just so bad that there was like no point to even have a civil war. Like,
like what are you gonna say to someone else if you're fucking 0-7 as well? You know, like.
Yeah, we're in a team and we're obviously all super shit because we're just losing. And it's like, what's the point of even having a civil war? Like, what would I even want to change? Because we're already in like the depths of hell, you know. So we're just like, it's no point. So we're just kind of just like, you know, accepting the end. We're just like, yeah, we're shit, might as well try and do something. So we're kind of like united in that sense, that we're just like no ego towards each other. We weren't really like putting fingers or like pointing fingers at each other for whoever's like fault it is for this respective loss. And I don't know, we're just like easy to work hard, and especially when teams around you are just like imploding and no one will kind of like wants, like the relationships between the players are just like damaged. So it was just kind of easy for us because everything just lined up with us finally learning how to play and kind of taking our destiny in our own hands and just kind of like skill check every single game, where if we're like good enough to snowball this game, then we will win. And most of the games we were. So I don't know, I think it just all lined up pretty well.
Well, you still had to bring back your fighting spirit and everything, which.
Yeah, I mean the thing is when we're so bad, when we're like 1-10 or whatever we were, my goal was just like, I really don't want to end this split 1-17, so I just want to win a couple more games and that's it, because it's just like It's really depressing to end the game, end the split 117. So I was just like, I just want a couple more wins. That's it.
Yeah, and a couple of more wins luckily came in hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty funny because in retrospect, Spring Split, obviously we had a huge losing streak as well. And I remember you doing your interview after week 3 and everything. And then the following
Was it
week,
the Sag interview?
Yeah, it was the Sag interview.
Sag.
And then in week 4, we actually were able to pick up the first one against G2, like, which was phenomenal as well. But the miracle run back then didn't happen. I wonder in retrospect whether the direty of the situation in summer, where, oh yeah, we have our first win now, but if we literally lose a single game more, it's over, whether that like added any spice, any pressure maybe that cost the players.
I really don't think so, because at that point when you're 1-10, okay man, Gilius can come in every day and say we're making it worse, but when you're 1-10, literally no one believes him. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So we're at the point where I invested into this split 10 losses already, and you're telling me that if I add one more, we're going home. But I'm like, bro, it's a bit too late for that. It's literally like, if you get 10% more of your total losses, then you're out and you're going home. And I'm like, bro, I already lost 10 and 10. Do you think it makes any difference for me? So it's just like, for me, it was like the biggest meme was like, because everyone was like, yeah, Worlds, playoffs, all of this. And I was like, I just want that we go 7-10, and then in the last game to decide if we go to playoffs or not, we lose for the absolute disaster, drama, chaos, where everyone would just like be super sad and everything would like start crashing down and crumbling, and it would be kind of like funny in its own like really dark way, you know? Because everyone's like, yeah, we're doing it, yeah, and then it's just lost. But so it would have been kind of like funny at the same time, but I'm a lot happier that it happened the way it happened. So.
I was gonna say, like, if you're telling me that you would have preferred that to at least making playoffs, you know, and smashing.
No, but it was more like I had to counterbalance Gilius, you know, because Gilius was like, oh, I booked my ticket to Shanghai, guys, but I was just like, bro, we're just gonna lose the last game, and then everyone's gonna be even more depressed than we actually were at 1-10.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is? If Misfits wouldn't have won against Vitality, it would have been worse, because we still could have won, and it wouldn't have mattered. So imagine being 8-10, and then it just straight up doesn't matter. Oh,
that would have been really crazy, and that was a game that like Vitality threw like 100 times,
1,000 times. Like, holy moly, that game was lost, man.
But it was crazy that like we would just get cucked out of it with like 3-way tiebreaker, even though we were like better than XL and stuff. So it just sucks that it would have just happened like that.
Yeah, luckily this time Schalke didn't get shafted by the Riot rules, but maybe it's another reason to look at that system once again.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of fair, you know, because if there's like 3 teams and one was better than the other 2, then obviously you like deserve it the way it works. So
I mean, I would just promote a 3-way tiebreaker to be played out, but I guess that's not possible these days. Either or, are there any like memories, any moments any people you will miss from the Schalke office? Anything you want to give?
I know, man. The miracle run was just crazy, you know, because I mean, if you finish in the split 1-10, or not 1-10, sorry, if you finish the split 1-17, then your next offseason is probably going to be pretty doomed. Maybe, I mean, potentially. I don't know, I'm just really happy that everyone just picked up the slack, and then we just managed to like go 8-10. It was actually, I think, like, even though I went to World Semis and we are week 2 against like at Worlds was like 1-2, I think, and we had to go 4-0 to get first place. The feeling I had by making the miracle run is kind of like comparable to that one. So it's like one of my best memories out of like my whole career, being able to do like something like this and just kind of I don't know, not even do it for like the fans or anything, but just for like myself and like our egos and stuff, you know. I don't know, I'm just so happy that like everyone just stepped up and did so good. That's why I leaving Schalke now, I feel kind of sad, just because I don't know, after like such an achievement we had with like the miracle run and stuff, I know it's just kind of crazy that it happened. Yeah, as I said, like, I don't know, the Miracle Run was like one of the best things to happen to me in like esports, just because it's like such a success story where you're just like 1-10, and the way we ended it all, especially, was like your last game of the year, the one that matters the most, is against the ranked one team in the league on red side, on a patch where red side was like literally 2 wins, 16 losses, and with Ash, where the champion was 0-8 on the patch, or 0-6, something like that.
Yeah, like
And
0
to
and
do
8
it
actually.
all, and to do all of those things in one game was just like absolutely insane. It was like an insane ending to like the whole Miracle Run thing. So I don't know, like, just Miracle Run mattered a lot to me personally, and I know just like everyone in the org was like really nice to me. Like Tim was like one of the best people I ever worked with in esports. Like, I have a lot of respect for him and everything, for like all he did for us. And I don't know, just anyone part of the management, like Nico, Emily at times, you, since you came in, like, you boosted everyone's kind of like social media and stuff, and just pretty much like all the teammates we had and the coaching staff with Dylan, Rodrigo coming in. Rodrigo really smurfed everything, and I don't know, hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Like, obviously part of like your social media team with like Alex and everyone, but just kind of like compacting everything. But I don't know, even though like maybe performance-wise wasn't really like the height of my career, I feel like given the situations we were in, everyone in the org did like such a good job.
And you guys did as well, for sure. Probably, in my personal opinion, completely unbiased, of course, but in my personal opinion, the greatest Miracle Run in European history. I mean, what comes close? I mean, the H2K run for first place, maybe the Fnatic run out of Worlds groups when they need to win.
I mean, Fnatic also went like 18-0. Oh, you mean Miracle Runs as in like come back from the jaws of defeat?
Because that's the different challenge as well, like as you also correctly said, like other teams.
But the thing is, like, the thing about the Miracle Run from Fnatic was it's kind of cringe, because they were 1-2, they lost the game, they were 1-4, and they still somehow make it because everyone in that group was just too boosted.
Yeah, I mean, did we get lucky a bit with the placements as well? Maybe with the result.
Yeah, I mean, Misfits winning against Vitality.
Yeah, I mean, that was
like
a big one.
I'm not gonna complain about that one anymore. But I don't know. It's just like, I feel like some things went into our favor for sure. But I mean, when the Miracle Run started, no one was thinking about playoffs. I mean, everyone's like, yeah, mathematically you can make playoffs 1%, blah blah blah, or whatever it was.
0.4%, by the way.
0.4?
Yeah.
Yikes, man. Actually, that's really crazy thinking about it. We were like 0.4% to make playoffs, and we actually made it. But I don't know. It was just like, even if we wouldn't have made playoffs, just the fact that we wouldn't like end the split on 117 for me was like a big achievement, considering, because it's like, it's so hard to get out of that like hole when you're like already so deep and you just feel like there's no way out, and then there's just like, you're kind of like doomed to it, And it felt like this so many times. But yeah, up until the point where Miracle Run starts. Because the thing is, we weren't like bad in scrims or anything. We were like fine, but we were just like not able to find wins.
Yeah, anything you would like to say to the Schalke fans for the 2 years?
To the Schalke fans? Well, to be honest, when I joined Schalke, there weren't a lot of Schalke fans. But okay, don't look at me like this. It's going to have a better story, There weren't a lot of Schalke fans when I joined in, but I feel like after these 2 years with like the Miracle Run and everything, I think the org and myself has slowly got like a lot more fans from it, just because it was just such a success story. And even though now that I leave, I hope the org and like the fans and everyone just keep supporting each other, just because I feel like Schalke as an org was always doing like good things, and I really want to see the org be successful next year, and keep the fan base happy and keep the fan base involved, because I think that after the Miracle Run, it was such a nice story that I feel like going into the next year, I hope that my fans or like Schalke fans keep supporting me and supporting the brand at the same time, because even though I leave Schalke, I feel like after these 2 years, it's always going to be kind of like a part of me at this point. It kind of feels like when I left H2K back in the day, where I feel like I've spent so much time with H2K, it kind of like became part of me. But now with like the miracle run happening, it's kind of like Schalke holds like a special place in my heart. Well, obviously, if the miracle run didn't happen, maybe it would have like wasn't that significant of a spot, in my heart. But but we're not discussing that. But like the miracle run happening is like I'm part of Schalke, even though I'm leaving. So I hope everyone keeps like supporting me and supporting the club as well.
Odo, it was an absolute pleasure. You will always be part of the Schalke 04 Esports history. Thank you again for your time, but also for the incredible performances during the Miracle Run and even in 2019 as well. Best of luck in the future. Of course, we'll hopefully cross paths many times and hopefully, I don't know, have a reunion at Worlds or something and talk about
True. And hopefully my team goes 2-0 against Schalke 04.
Okay, let's see how that goes, my friend. Maybe in spring, but not in summer. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Any feedback from you guys, of course, will be very much appreciated. But for now, Odo out. And I thank you for your time. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah. See you.